planetary energies and concerning you. This is more a close-up to what's going on and pertaining you. So I'm gonna break it down so you can follow this. The planetary energy is as follows. Wherever we are in relationships, and this is a pattern of, you can say, observing my life in reflection to now, where I'm at, and maybe for others to reflect. And I watched the Leo King, I watched the Peace Dealer, I watched this other Leo woman, astrology. And what I do is, you know, when people say, yeah, astrology is not for me, tarot is not for me, here's this: the level of intelligence that we have requires for us to recognize pattern. It's like fractals unfolding. Like when you know, the Russians have studied this as an experiment, there's a certain level at the intersection from an exit to the highway where people crash. Yeah, so then you watch that over 30 years, and people, there's an area where the cars go wonky, and then you have a pattern. So the Russians said it's a geopathic zone. That means that there's a zone where there's something not in harmony, like I would say out of phase. We're also roughly out of phase because the Earth's magnetics is very low. You can measure that yourself. The Gauss level is at its lowest. That is connecting to the things magnetized in your body, magnetite in Earth, magnetite in Pluto, Mars. All of these planetary constellations are in relation to the blueprint of where you will be in the future. Now here comes the pickle. Now imagine, I see that with my family members, you've been in a relationship for 17 years. You know, I have to use this template: relationships or relating ships. Ships, you're all spaceships, you're all relating, okay, to one another. Fly together in formation, part ways, come back together. This is all, you do that. So, the robotic routine is this. I saw this video posted on Facebook where somebody says, don't miss the snow. And this gave me the metaphor to explain what is right now. So I saw these two trucks going high speed, it's snowing, they have to deliver cargo, and really nobody puts their foot off the gas. Professional trained truck drivers, okay? And they're going, I don't know, 85, and I think in a 60 zone, and it's like, woof, and it's snowing, and it is like when you hit the brakes, there's no brake. And all the trucks past that, going the same speed, nobody cares, everybody has to make deliveries. So it's the relationship they're having from point A to point B. So, but the truck now is that entire relationship in you committing to everything that you've packed. Well, that has weight. So when you hit the brakes, that whatever you have, all of that has piled up, for people where stuff piles up, is the weight that will push you. That's why a little car, you hit the brakes, will go out of spin, and I don't know, in a couple of yards come to a halt. A truck, hundreds of yards because of the weight. But that's how your relationships. So I see these two trucks entangling, meaning they're not in agreement in a linearity of progression on the ascension, and this happens, and they get stuck and they crash. While truck number 3 comes, sees them, skids, and it crashes his shit. And then 11 or 12 trucks, these are all energy patterns, run into this thing. Everybody runs into this thing. It doesn't stop, and it's a pile up, and all of a sudden it stops. It comes to a halt. So right now the energy is savage, be advised. And I know it sounds uncomfortable for some. You lose your job for a certain reason because you're creating basically a scenario where you set yourself up for losing a job. That is when you pick a job where it's not certain if that can hold. Your higher self or your subconscious self has already set itself up for that. And I've seen it happen with hundreds of people. So I looked into a black mirror once, or a dark mirror, as in a negative mirror. And the mirror showed me where I'm being wounded. And I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and I realized for myself, either I lie to myself and say, well, I need to look at it over and over and over and understand that being backstabbed and stabbed and stabbed and nothing is ever changing, and I'm drowning here slowly. Yeah, my money is good, but my money is not where I want my money to be. Let's say, for example, other extremes is where you get so drained that you run broke, you lose all clientele, you lose all your jobs, and stuff comes to a halt. That's like where the savage beast comes in. And the next year, this is for all of us, if you do not step into your power, assert yourself with your craft and what you're doing, and this is what you do and what you stand for, and you commit to what you're doing, you will be forced to move. So I had like 10 cases now where people are in a situation where they're really not happy with the situation, and either the house is being sold or the house is being refurbished, or the landlord wants the house back, or things that will have to make you move out of the situation. And now you have to think, that's for the collective, and a lot of people that hear this know this. For those who are on their path, I'm probably preaching to the choir. If you are in the lane where you have made your job, you have an agreement with a partner, or you're single or whatever, and you're happy where you are right now, your living situation, contracts got extended. See, I had a credit on my rental situation. I don't even know why I had a credit. So I had a bonus this year, which is very formidable, and I see how this forms around me. I remember when I built a house, I built a fence around the house, and I agreed with the landlord to split the cost. I don't know if there was a misunderstanding, but in the end, the landlord paid for all the material. So I was like, things can actually work when you put your mind to it, but you have to actually see them when they work. When you're in a situation that you're not solving, this is when the frying pan comes. See, I was in a relationship for like, I think, 7 or 8 years, where in the 5th year I actually realized I was smoked. I wasn't happy. I wasn't honest to myself, and I wasn't stating that. And when I stated that that time, and it was I remember a repeating pattern, not recognized, I was immediately kicked out of the apartment. I was not on a lease. I was, you can say, homeless, stayed at a friend's crib. But I got up and asked everybody that I could to get a place. I had a friend, he gave me a key. The key said guiding light. And he said, you can stay here 2 months for free, but get your shit together and start paying rent. So I basically motivated, like within the first month, I worked, paid my rent, paid my bills, and regulated myself and brought myself back. And business was good. And when I tried to decide to go back to that old relationship and fix it, all my sales stopped. I wouldn't get any jobs. It's like as if the universe is like, if you still want to play that BS, I'm cutting you right now. So right now, karma right now will cut you. Like, if you don't step into your power and saying, this is what I do, if you're not getting out of complacency, if you're not, like, if you tell yourself that stuff needs to get worse before you realize you need to get out of Dodge, it will get worse. You will crash. So the reason why I'm telling you this is, I want to help you to prevent the crash, that you're not having to crash. So I crashed, and in my life I crashed at 2 or 3 times. I was living with, when I came here 2012, I was living with roommates in a situation that turned out to be impossible, and a leadership that was impossible, where I felt exploited, used, abused, lied to, and weird stuff. And I was living with roommates where I was not in agreement, and the agreement from their plot wouldn't change. My business was good. I conducted good business, committing to my business and nothing else, not in an egotistical or selfish way. And then I dissolved the situation. I moved out of this house. Everybody else couldn't hold the house anymore, and they moved out. And I realized, okay, then I seen person A, or let's say person B, moving in with roommates. Person A not really making the cut, the roommates covering the rent, until one day the roommates were like, you know what, I'm moving out. I'm tired of paying your rent and having your back and keeping you afloat. I'm done. And person B sitting there, oh shoot, I gotta move. I'm not being supported here, or the parasitic implant that I gave to these people, believing that they need to follow me while I need them more than they need me. That sales pitch doesn't work anymore. Boom, I'm out. Next house, next participant. So when you're at that crossroad right now, you lost your job, you just had to move. Do you want to create another situation where you're being moved again and it gets really, really critical? Because here's right now the frying pan is waiting for those who don't make a choice now to say, you know what, I'm kind of independently, have saved all my money. I'm ready to do what I can do to be safe with me, my family, relatives, or whatever it is. Because everybody that's with you, that you taking care of, gets burnt the same way you're burning yourself by not letting go of, we're done here. So it's now coming to the realization when we're done, or when you need to disconnect. So when I disconnected with people, there's no block. You can also watch people on Facebook, they block you and then they unblock you. When you block, when you think very, very long before you have to block somebody. And if somebody comes back and says, let's make amends and let's make peace, it's to be reconsidered. But I also had cases where a person from years ago that was trolling my network came back, not really apologizing, just saying he was in a different mind state. And he wanted back in, wanted to be a friend, and already asking me for a friendship in one of my hybrid groups starts like infecting people with bad information, bad criticism. And I'm glad that they reported, like my people, like I love you, like anything popping up, everybody revealing himself is reported to me, digitally marked, booted, blocked, and banned. And thanks to the perpetrators to reveal themselves. And it's like, how long do we need to realize there's a perpetrator that is upsetting you, he's not letting go, I don't know, it's 6 years from now, they still want something with you where you have nothing to do with them, there's nothing to share with them. For me, before I go to a website and unvote something, I will not subscribe to anything that is upsetting. By not being ignorant, and that's for all of us, I will go where I vote and I will subscribe to what is uplifting and turns into something. To also that we see that people that are broke or, you know, really in a crash mode. And that's why in the future I'll do readings to help you see where you are, to really give you like a coach saying, okay, if you do push-ups this way, you're going to hurt your muscle lining. You can make a choice, and it doesn't turn any follower or listener into a dummy, to do your workout a little bit more different. See, that's my partial German side, where I'm like, what is common sense here right now? Endless debates and situations that are unsolved, or moving forward and seeing, okay, you have this agreement, you have that agreement. I've learned also the great lesson with my 4-hour broadcast that I was sitting there with star seeds and we would enrich each other. We would not label and saying, well, I believe in infinity and I believe in this, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting aspect, that's an interesting angle. And I agreed with what most of they were saying, is agreeing is seeing. But if people want to disagree to disagree, it's not really beneficial or doing anything. And I see many people bitch and bicker and how the world is so bad, not making any money from this, not creating networks, not getting more subscribers or followers with what they're doing. And then I see others that continue their job, they make money, they rise, they shine, they expand, they get following, they are powerful leaders. That's why I call myself commander, to remind myself that I am given this vessel to command how I want this reality to unfold. So understand, you all have the potential to be a commander or a programmer by saying you are programming the game, or are you just a user that plays Minecraft or whatever it's called, Fortnite, whatever, and it's just you playing on a platform where you make somebody money, but you're not creating actually anything. So it's about, what are you creating? What are you generating? What is your output? How is that what you're putting into the world, inspiring others to go forward? You know, do you know how to get water from the well? Do you know the extreme of this is where you go and this is how you can do it, and then I'm getting water, this is nice. So basically now it's time, it's savage. It's like, if you do not get up and make changes or commit, it will cut you. I've seen it happen where people were living and the roommates were like, okay, tomorrow, you know what, I'm going to be late with rent, or I'm not going to pay. And you own a lease and the landlord's like, what's up with the rent? And you're like, yeah, my roommates, and everything just falls apart. To move you into a position, everything falls apart to move you into a position where you are actually harassed into expansion. Meaning, if you do not solve this equation that is an upset, and you keep lying to yourself that you need to see this because you need to see this, or you need the reflection to tell you, well, I'm here to show you what you need to see, you need to get kicked in the groin. You know what, I say you can make a decision to say, you know what, I do not want to get kicked in the groin, and I don't need to reflect on something that is upsetting, that I am not creating. I see that I'm enabling, and I'm allowing it to happen, and I see it happen, but there's no must for you to sit there and endure. Like in school, the bully that pokes you and pokes you and pokes you, at some point you're going to hit back or do something where this bully can't reach you, because you're like, okay, this is enough now. I see that with businesses out there, and people also, even in the esoteric industry, with impossible lawsuits on commercial stations that propagate esoteric and metaphysical wisdom, and then all of a sudden communities ban these individuals and they're not booked anymore. You out there, it's like, be humble with your craft, work your works, don't flip out, don't get greedy. We all want to make money, we all want to live, but be original with what you bring and contribute to the world, and commit to that. And that's right now asserting your power, stepping into your power, owning your stuff. Or sit there like a lemming and you're not really, you're in the current, and the current will take you. And if your boat smashes because there's some rocks in the river where the currents are stronger, and you're not paying attention that the current is stronger where you're going, well, guess what? Your boat will be smashed. You will sink. You have to swim to shore and recalibrate. And that will happen until you understand, until you inner and over and outer stand that, hey, this is a direction that is not beneficial for you anymore. And it'll be shown. It'll be shown, like, let's say you have one of your roommates, you're not giving up on your roommate or your best friend, and they steal your money, or they betray you, or they lose their jobs, or they force you into a situation that's very, very upsetting. It's like, how long are you going to sit there and endure the BS, telling yourself, I need to see in the video. Like, when you see it's BS right now, you need to call it. You need to say, okay. See, you need a long time to figure out what your moves are, and you need a long time what your strategy is. That's Sun Tzu. That means you're not prepared. No lie. You are not prepared. And the rush and the waves and business opportunities and job opportunities and getting more clientele and growing are there. You will make more. You'll make 3, 5, 6-fold of where you have been before by making a decision to go there. It happened to me when I moved to Sedona. I moved to Sedona on faith. I didn't know it was like yoga and guru and coach country here, and a lot of UFO followers and healing modalities. I was just giving the image by my higher guides of where I need to move, and trust that feeling. And the feeling that I had is that I felt abundance, that I felt peace, that I felt a lot of healing and recalibration coming to be. And I said, I'm following that feeling, not knowing what to expect, and I had a home within the first week, job, everything worked and is working and forever growing and getting better. Confirming that is, when you commit to the cause, you will win. And continuing, found my my soul partner that actually had a similar angle of approach, leaving Europe and coming here. And we're in this boat with all our crap, everything put on a table, everything we felt, all the secrets, everything mapped out and spoken about. Where I've seen couples where not everything is communicated. People with multiple crushes have not communicated with their partners, but because they're not prepared to handle that one can walk away, or one wants to walk away, because that the road ends here. Could be, sounds uncanny, but we've been through it all. Allow yourself to live in truth, speak your truth. Do not compromise the throat chakra. If you compromise the throat chakra, guess what? Your reflection will ask you, and you will lie about what you're actually feeling, and you're compromising your throat chakra, compromising your willpower, and that can backfire. Your sacral and root can hold it. Your money can be quite okay, but if you're not really in satisfaction, your money will stay here. And you want to actually grow, you want it to move, you want to expand, you have big plans. I don't know, you want to buy land, you want to build your own bubble dome, go out there, create your own retreats. The avenues are open for this, to set it up and make it right and really fulfill your greatest hopes and greatest dreams and greatest desires. And it's okay to have a desire. It's okay to have a want. You're here on earth with a drive to propagate something that you want to push and you want to move forward. That's okay. Love that. Love yourself. Be in tune with that. I had one friend, that happened actually to a couple of friends of mine, and I learned that from a woman where that case happened to her, and she was together with somebody. She wanted to open her relationship, and the other dude was strictly monogamous and gave her an ultimatum. And she was like, yeah, it's his apartment, he has the financial power. I don't make myself a victim. So she worked double shifts, saved her money, and then said, okay, you're not giving me an ultimatum. This is how I feel. I want to be able to express my feeling without being called anything. That's also the feminine independence coming in very strong right now. That's why a lot of sexual energy is being released and people don't know what to do or where to go with that. Is have your own stuff together, be on point, be a professional with that, how you share or who you meet or on whatever level you meet, be in transparency and be in openness. And not any other gains than pursuing the truth. Yeah, and when she told a homeboy that gave her an ultimatum that she wants to be freer and more open with that, he said, then it's over. You have a week to move out. Same thing happened to me in reverse, but she had her money. This time she was prepared, Sun Tzu, Being prepared is half the battle. And it comes for some people that are still resisting, they're still in the old. You're in a timeline that you have started maybe a year or 2 or 3 years ago, but this is an entire time loop that you have created from 2012 to now, 7 years. This is a completely new slate that you're creating here. Don't create the same thing. Like, I had to get rid of a lot of perpetrators and people in my life that say things about family and they're not really family. They say your friend, they smile in your face, but they really actually not including you into anything. And they have left that. You let it go, let it fly, let it go where it's supposed to go, because it's not meant to be for you. Now realize that, integrate that, inhale that, and extract the essence of where you is, and with that essence you go, and you will be successful. Make the other decision. That's why sometimes I had this talk with my partner where I fail to help or inspire people is, you can challenge people all you want. You can tell them, don't do this. Right now, Pluto and Mars, look at the constellations if you're into astrology. Right now, it's savage. If you don't pull the plug right now and say like, okay, I'm done. I'm done here. This is it. It's like every day the same, blah, blah, blah. We're finished. Which I had in Sedona 2012, where I was sitting there with my roommates. I'm like, okay, I'm moving out for the following reasons, and then I had a list of stuff memorized of everything that was done. I said, I'm no longer enabling that, nor am I subject to being treated that way, that I lose, that I bleed, and that it's hurtful for no reason. And you have the freedom to decide that. So sacral chakra also, can block your sexual energy right now, that you don't feel you want to be with your partner. For those who feel that, you don't have to text or compose anything or reply. Those that are honest, feel free to post that they're going through that. Is then your sacral goes locked, the depression kicks in, your root is being buffered. Could be the money is good, but only for a temporary time. And then, yeah, sacral stops. Sexual energy is kind of like, I don't really want anything because I don't even like myself right now. Yeah, the energy will get more critical and it will come to a stop. One full stop is, okay, now you're forced to move, or you're losing your job, or the relationship is over, whatever you had, or the boss that you worked for can't stand you and you've now finally exploded at your workplace and you say everything that you've ever wanted to say in your job. It's like, you know what, you're fired. Party is over right now for the BS. And when we realize that, very quick, get your boat together, put your stuff, get in gear, be reminded in your root chakra, look at what you have and go there. If you try to take the old baggage with that same attitude, when you bite your tongue, when ish hits the fan, BS is being propagated, and you swallow it again, well, guess what? You go into the new situation and you'll blow up again. I've seen that with a person. She lost her house by not following the rules, inviting more than 30 people, upsetting the neighborhood, and went into the same situation, got the next house, and did the same program again, where, you know, with the neighborhood, according to certain regulations, you shouldn't upset your neighbors or upset people for no reason, you know. Pleasant and peaceful should be with one another. That's why we don't have these futuristic communities yet, because in cyberspace we're learning how these communities work. Look at how Facebook is a mess, but everybody posts themselves. People on Periscope don't even know what to do with themselves, and it's me, and nobody says, you know what, I'm offering this service and anybody needs this and this, and then you can call somebody up, say, I actually need your service, what's your charge? Like what I did with a friend of mine who creates magnetic pads for beds. And there's an exchange and it's beneficial for both are happy, both enrich one another with the information, and we're moving on. That other stuff will be cut. The frying pan is right now saying it stops, it ends here, party is over, next level. Be direct, be honest, most of all be honest with yourself, speak your truth. And move in that. It's the same thing as, like, yeah, like I said, impossible lawsuits right now are not helping. Aggressive behavior demonstration, all of this stuff is not helping right now. You need to adjust yourself, count the little seeds that you have in your hand, and start planting again. And this year will set the tone for the next 20 years. So if you want if you want to commit to a situation that is wonky, but guess what, that you have a lot of years of a lot of stress, ups and downs, a lot of moves, you'll be moved several times, you won't rest, you won't be able to settle down, comfort zone is not going to happen for a very, very long time, until, I have to say it, your egotistical shadow self gets out of the crap canyon and says, okay, I see. This is not working. It's not working for me. I'm not happy, and I don't want to even tell anybody, adjust yourself for my happiness. You need to adjust yourself for your happiness. And that has to be self-centered without being abusive or just serving my mind and me and myself and I, and nothing else exists. With in consideration what's around you, who is resonating with you, who is not in resonance with you. And I say in peace, if there's something that you're not in resonance with, do the Zen. Be peaceful. The art of doing nothing. Can you do that? Or you're running around with labels and you're full of it and you're running around and all of this is happening. That's what I learned from Zen is, well, sometimes it is best to pump the brakes. When it's bad weather, you don't have to go out and drive. Driving cautious, looking way ahead in the road, seeing potential traffic jams or accidents makes you more psychic, and you drive to the side and park and wait till all of this entanglement and discombobulation is over, and then you weave reality through that with a thread where you are the mountain guide, you guide your people over the mountain so they may cross, like this the shaman's work, as in the shaman and in the Mayan way of life is also the navigator, the cosmic navigator through space and time. And he has to be psychic. He has to see what's coming. He has to know, is there a tsunami? Is it profitable to live there? How's the crops going to be the next day? You know, is it smart to wage war over there? That's what these oracles of Delphi and all these ancient beings that were consulted by kings and great ones come into play to say, hey, war must end here. Look at the government, you know, you have two parties not agreeing. Now the frying pan is, well, the government is shut down. But what does that look like when a store shuts down all the time because they can't pay their employees? If anybody want to tell me that's good business, then you're living your own delusional things over there. And then somebody, and I've seen that for my grandma, there is the little bakery in town, and they're always open. There's never no problem. Everybody's at work. They deliver. People are happy. Everybody gets their breakfast, and they never have a shutdown. And everybody in town agrees that is good business. So look at the entire spectrum of right now. What's good business? What's bad business? If somebody, you know, has a halt where the energy cannot be distributed, it's dammed, as in the dam. And when a dam overflows, it breaks. And when it breaks, it creates disaster. And usually that can happen in your life if you don't stop the overflow and create a vent and something where you make a decision where I have to get out of this here. This makes no sense for me right now. And this is, if you need it from me, this is your permission slip. If you really feel like you want to do a 180, do your 180 right now. Now is the time, you know. A friend of mine is out of town and they have to move. Well, if you have a 30-day notice, why are you in another state? I would pack my stuff. I would haul astral behind, get everything together and be on my P's and Q's, have all my ducks in a row, and fight very, very hard to set up a platform that you are okay. And because we are so spoiled, we need disaster, we need the frying pan. We need to be like, okay, maybe you need 15 days to move, and maybe your roommates are not supporting you right now, or maybe your best friend is dropping doo-doo drops on you and leaving you in the cold for you to realize, oh shoot, I'm totally screwed. Maybe that shocker is needed. And that is when people have too many layers of the non-realized causal entity that you are, that your onion of BS is so thick that you need 17 years to figure out that marriage was actually a dud, you know. Well, then you have to go through this, but ascension right now accelerates that. It's going to be more painful. You have to realize that. Maybe the next morning your ignition won't come on. I mean, everything will break down to shut you down, to say, hey, you're not on your path. Find your way home, find your way to your path. And I know it sounds radical right now, but you need to hear this, is I'd rather have it real than people sit around and wasting their time and not going anywhere. We're here to fuse minds. We're here to set it up, and I know it's not easy. It's an ongoing process. I'm not saying it's easy for me, but when I commit myself, like my grandfather, when he chopped the wood 3 months before winter would start, then we had 3 months of wood deep into the winter, which he almost chopped all year, stacking it up in the shed. And my grandma had heat all winter because he prepped, and it wasn't costing him hours and hours in a day. Early in the morning, he had his breakfast, got up, chopped the wood, stacked it, called it a day. Do your little wood chopping, carry your buckets of water, stack it up, because that energy is rewarding when you put into it. You know, it's like, I put everything in my store. I put all the merch up. I get everything. I pre-order. I preset. I pre-invest without knowing is that even coming back. Having faith, trusting in it, that I'm doing the good work, and I'm going to my events and it's working for me. I get the booth that I want. You know, people are in agreement with me. I get discounts. I get credits. I go to my internet provider and they're like, oh, you have 1 month off. You've been such a good customer. We give you a credit and here's a bonus. Here's your high speed. and you're going, wow, things can work for you when you put this positive affirmation as an embodiment of that it is so. Your life. And I know the other thing is there's genetic blueprint, and what are you predisposed to? You have to go through the conflict that your parents had to carry, understood. But if you realize that that is gold, that is platinum, that is where your money is, that's where your entrepreneurship is. Get an Etsy store, have a PayPal account, find a craft, get creative, sell paintings, make marmalade, I don't know, make beads, make pendants, organize. Many people have stuff. Be a speaker at a UFO conference. Do your thing, do your job. There's no excuse in this realm right now. Make music, make demo beats, upload it to Lander, upload it to Wise, upload it to Song Trader, where they're scouting for songs because the movie doesn't have enough. Anything that you're not doing cannot respond back to you and assist you when you sit there. I'm above all things. I don't need to do anything. Trust me, right now, nature is right now, if you're not moving, right now, you're going to be moved, okay? You want to stop, you don't want to stop bullying right now. Maybe the little kid that's half your size right now will bust your behind, flip you and say, you need to stop it right now. And you're going, what's happening now? Systems are coming to a halt right now, realizing no more, like Captain Picard said, this far. What did he say about the book? They invade our space and we fall back. This far and no further. This must end now. And this is what you have to feel. That energy that I'm giving you is just get up and be motivated to end the crap and start organizing you and realizing when you go back to you, things will work. And that is when like Esther Hicks said, when you're inside your vortex, everything inside the vortex works. Everything in the eye of the storm, that's where dragon eggs hatch. When you get psychic, you build yourself. Everything inside of that works for you. It always did. You know what that swirl around you is? That's the debris of bullshit that we have created in our life, thinking that it needs to be, and it's flying. But if you get caught in that, it's a disaster. You're lost. You won't make it. Focus is, even in Kung Fu, is going back to the center, and do not be perturbed by the projections that perpetrators throw at you because they have an opinion about you and they want you to fail, which nobody should wish. You should wish for everybody to be in their truth and truthfully move to where they need to be moved and see where they are. Also, for those who look at demographics, like I moved to Sedona because the Jupiter and the Sun line is here. Very powerful lines. Astrotravel.com defines your astrological lines to your birth chart. If you have Saturn under you will struggle, mark my words. It's a deeper reflection and hard work. Like I had Saturn in Frankfurt and Berlin, and I made money. I couldn't save money. It was very, very hard paying bills and saving money, and then I didn't make enough money, and I realized, why can I get out of this loop, realizing I'm on a Saturn line and my position was not ideal. And then I checked the cards for America, East Coast, West Coast, like really make your mind up to, where can you prosper. So, I found astrotravel.com and I looked at my lines, and I have ideal lines running where I'm at. And I'm taken care of because I trust my faith and I trust in me. And I let people know where my intuition is, and now more so, I trust my intuition, which is the feminine side of me, where I'm saying, okay, this feels like this is going this way, and then usually it goes that way, and then people go like, oh my God, you predicted this. So I'm telling you people, right now, get in gear, get your stuff together, check your root chakra, check the demographics of where you are. Is this an ideal situation? Is this really beneficial for you? How many complaints? Like I told that one of my clients, she had a lover that she wasn't satisfied with. And I just asked her, it's like, make a list if the complaints outweigh the joy that you can have. And one of the complaints is 75%. Is it worth the intimacy that you want there? And then she was like, no. And I said, well, make a choice. And when you let that particular item go that is more upsetting than bringing you joy or excitement, then something else that can bring you more excitement has a chance to find you. But you won't smell nice if you still running with rhetoric. The whiff is going to be like not attractive for opportunity to find you. So the minute you make space, as in defragment yourself, and you come into self-governance and self-sovereignty. You don't need a passport to prove or disprove that. That has to do something with mental maturity within the system that you have created. Everything that is around you, we have voted for, we have installed, we have paid for. Any channel that you're watching, you're subscribing. So there's no blame into what are you subscribing to, how you're regulating the input that's coming at you, and how you're modulating that what's coming at you, and bring forth in life that you can find excitement without having to chase it. So it comes to you like an offering, and it comes to you like a deer in the woods because it sees now you're worthy. So abundance is this high priestess diva that looks at you kind of like this. Are you worthy? Are you worth my time? Are you worthy the abundance and the money and everything? And money is nothing, there's nothing wrong. Money is not the root of all evil. The root of all evil is the bad decisions that mankind make with the power amplifier. So money is, however it is used, an amplifier of your root chakra. So do not fall for those conspiracy theories of Federal Reserve and it doesn't have any value. You pay your money, you can buy your laptop, right? You pay your bills right now. So it's being valued and there's an exchange being made. Only should that stop, you should question it. But as long as there's a value acceptance, and it doesn't matter how long or what they say, how in depth this country is. If I get a lollipop for $1, then I get a lollipop for $1. Well, if that's the value system, then I need to really adjust myself according to the value system. Because if you go into the desert and you want to eat, I don't know, cacti and just wait for better weather, you'll probably die. This is not the way. The way is where we are to modulate within, change and transform that for the better, so you have a better outcome and you have a better route and a better situation that you are creating. And understanding that you are responsible for what you do. You are responsible for how you act and react, and that all the time. And when you realize that, well, your third eye can expand. So that's part of the school here that I wanted to share. This was imminent for the new year. Some people need a push. They still, you know, the race has begun. Everybody's in their car. People already took off, and some are still at the baseline going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Some with their bikes. But it's all nice fronting that you got it. Pedal to the metal, rubber meets the road. It's takeoff time. Right now the systems say, and go. Some of you have 30 days, some of you have countdowns, some of you have ultimatums. Think about that, integrate that. You're strong enough, you're privileged. You're not living in a country where speaking freely is outlawed or Google is firewalled. You're in America right now, or you're in England, or you're in Australia, or New Zealand. People, you are privileged. Use the power to make the change with what's given to you, with everything that you have growing up in this, and make a better choice. And that rests with you. I see you most certainly on the flip side.